Townsend. And as we yesterday discussed about the setting boundaries within your family members, this is about the friends. And it's again equally, he says that it is because the friends are very close to you, just like your family members. So it is very very important for you to set boundaries, or else you will be exhausted of all your energy and your time. So the author identifies three different types of boundaries. It's enmeshment. We discussed about it yesterday as well. This is when your friends are too involved in your life and they do not respect your boundaries. Okay, so that's called enmeshment. Then the second category the author talks about is disengagement. This is when a friend is too distant and doesn't show enough interest in your life. So first is too much in your life, and another is too indifferent of your life, disengagement. And the third is codependency. This is when a friend is emotionally dependent on you and uses you to meet their own needs. Okay, so that means that is a self that's an interest, their interest, and they are very much dependent on you for their needs. So okay, so that's very dangerous. Now, the author argues that it's important to be able to set boundaries with your friends in order to protect your well being. And again, how do you do that then? How do you protect yourself and your boundaries? How do you set your boundaries? He says that be clear about your boundaries. Let your friends know what you are willing to do and what you are not willing to do. So that is the business. The book is all about. You should be vocal about it. You should be able to let other people know. And again, he talks about it as well. How do you are you afraid of them rejecting you, or not liking you, those kind of a thing. So okay, how do you address that as well? The author talks about that. But be clear, be assertive. Okay, don't be afraid to say no to your friends. So that's what the author talks about. And that, and once you are assertive, then the your friends or whoever that friend is able to know that you set your boundaries, so they will not try to interfere within your boundaries again. Okay, so be prepared to walk away. If your friend doesn't respect your boundaries, be prepared to walk away from the situation and do not take it personally. Your friend's behavior is not about you, it's about them and their own issues. Okay, do not take it personal. Oh, I am behaving this way. Oh, I should be doing this and not. So do not do that. Okay, so there's their problem, so you should not be responsible, should not be thinking in that way. Now to summarize, so there are some he says that setting boundaries within your friend circle may be challenging, but it's essential for your well-being. And some of the tips of what the author shares, they say choose your battles wisely. Not every boundary issue is worth fighting over. That we discussed earlier as well. Be patient, it takes time, and get support. But very important thing, what is the author says, more importantly in this chapter, he says that friendship are an important part of your life. Okay, for your well-being as well, because friends you laugh together with, you have fun, they're good friends, you need friends. But they provide you with a companionship, support, laughter. However, friendship can also be challenging. Sometimes our friends may ask us to do things that are not comfortable, that we are comfortable with, and they may not respect our boundaries. So when this happens, it's important to be able to set boundaries with your friends. Boundaries are limits that are set for ourselves to protect our physical, emotional, and mental health. They help us to feel safe and respected in our relationship as well. Setting boundaries with friends can be difficult, but it is important for our well-being. If we do not set boundaries, we may end up feeling resentful, angry, even used. Okay, so we may also find ourselves in situations that are harmful to us as well. Now, there are many different ways to set boundaries with friends. Some people find it helpful to be direct and assertive. As we discussed earlier, you have to be vocal about it, assertive about it. But others may prefer to be more indirect. So that means, you try to avoid that person, try to, come up with excuses and also indirect way. So there is no right or wrong way to set boundaries. As long as it's important, it is something that you feel comfortable with. Okay, So if you struggle to set boundaries with your friends, there are a few things that you can do. First, it's important to understand why you are having difficulty setting boundaries. So what is that? If somebody is getting into your boundaries, what is that? Are you afraid of hurting your friends' feelings? Are you afraid of being rejected? Once you understand the reason, you can start to address it. Okay. So that means if you are saying that, okay, you're afraid of being rejected, then you feel like, okay, I am feeling afraid of being rejected because this me saying no to him, he may feel bad and he may feel like, but then it should come to your mind that, okay, how do I address it? So how do I address the having that feeling of getting rejected? So that means, let's say, you reject or you say no in this occasion, but you also let him know or convey the message as well in such a way that that person try to understand it. Okay. So secondly, it is important to communicate with your boundaries to your friends. Be clear, direct what you are willing to and we are not willing to do. If your friend does not respect your boundaries, you may need to set consequences. For example, you may need to stop spending time with them, limit your contact with them. So, this is extremely important for your well being. As long as it gets in your head that it has to be done, it's for your well being. It's not that you are not, you don't care about your friends, but it is more about you taking care of your well-being. And also that doesn't mean that you will be very much selfish and you don't bother about your friend. No, absolutely not. Okay. Friendship is togetherness, but it's always have to make sure that it's kind of a both ways. Okay. And whatever you could do that, but it should not be at the price of your well-being. Somebody else or your friend should take advantage of you. All right. So with that, we are done, and hope it made some sense to you guys. If you are adding some values, so we'll cover the chapter 9, which is very important as well: boundaries and your spouse. Okay. So that is also quite important. So we'll um, cover that tomorrow as well. So with that, we are done, and over and out, guys. Talk to you tomorrow on boundaries, with your spouse.